everybody. Welcome to the OnStage Blog Theater podcast. And we are really excited today. We are going back in time. We're talking about high school theater, what makes for great high school theater, which shows are popular. It's going to be really fun to talk about. And I am theater critic Rachel Wagner, and Jacqueline Collier's here.
I'm so excited to go back in time with you, Rachel. There's that TV show Encore where adults used to get to go
Oh,
back to
yeah.
their high school and put on the shows that they did in high school. This is almost as good as that. We
Yeah.
get to go back in time here.
Yes. And we have with us special guest for the podcast. We have Tanner Tate here. He's a voice teacher and music director out of Utah. And Tanner, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be back. This is my second time on Rachel's podcast, and we're talking about something that's very close to my heart. So I'm very excited to do it.
So this is your first time on Stage Blog. So why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners who might not know who you are?
My name is Tanner Tate. I am a voice teacher based in Salt Lake City, and I'm also a resident music director where I music direct at a lot of different theaters around the valley, around the Salt Lake Valley. I've performed a lot. I've been performing since I was 17, and I am now 28, and I've performed in probably 55 different productions, or
wow,
in some capacity.
Yes,
so,
yeah. And you've done some theater for youth as director or producer, or working on
and pretty much anything there is to do with theater for youth I've done. I spent in music directing, but I've also directed. The first show I ever directed was actually a youth show, and so I've directed shows, but also I really focus on music directing. And that's where I love to work with kids because that's my specialty.
Yeah. What about you, Jax? What was your experience as far as high school theater?
So I went to a small school, and the coolest thing was football. So basically, I got to have the peak high school experience because I got to be the lead in 4 shows because no one else wanted to do it. I was like, I'm the queen bee, and everyone's like, I don't care, we don't want to do it. So, I loved high school theater. We did Annie, which I was a little old to be playing Annie, but there you go.
You were in Pennsylvania, right?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't the cool thing to be doing, except the year that we did Damn Yankees, and we convinced a lot of the baseball players to actually play baseball players in Damn Yankees. And then I was like, okay, I guess this is cool for 1 year. And then we did Guys and Dolls, and they kind of wanted to be gangsters, so it was okay. But I loved high school theater. I had a blast doing it, and I really do wish. I thought that when I was mentioning that Kristen Bell show on Disney Encore where they go back as adults and perform the show, I just think that's so fun and nostalgic. I wish it was still on TV because these people were having a blast being reunited. It's better than a high school reunion because you actually have a project that you're working on. So I think that's so fun.
Yeah. What about you, Tanner? Did you have any when you were going to high school that stood out?
I had a really weird theater experience in high school where I never really did theater in school growing up, and then I transferred schools in my junior year, and I went to the school where I didn't know anybody, and I was kind of a wallflower my junior year, and my senior year they were going to put on Les Miserables, which my family was not a big theater family, but we really appreciated the art form. And so we would always listen to Les Miserables. We'd talk about it. We saw Wicked when I was a kid. And so I thought, oh, I love Les Mis. I mean, I might as well do something. Maybe I'll make some friends. And so I walked into the audition. I'd never really done an audition for a musical before. And they gave me Jean Valjean. And so suddenly I was Jean Valjean.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
And so, and the rest is history after that. Yeah. But I kind of opened my eyes to this whole world of performance, and I thought, oh my gosh, I finally found something I'm kind of good at.
Yeah.
So I'm 10 years later, and I'm still doing it.
Oh my gosh, did you just walk around singing that you were Jean Valjean? Like the number, like I could just imagine being like, okay, guess like I'm awesome that I just walked in and got Jean Valjean.
So the funny thing about it was that it actually caused some problems. It caused some friction with a lot of the quote unquote theater kids because a lot of them had done theater for their entire lives. And then here's this random kid who walks in and just gets the lead. And they were really bothered by that for a while. But when they found out that I just am a normal person and I wasn't, know, I didn't have a big ego or anything like that. Then we got along just fine. But it was a weird experience. It was very different.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I believe very strongly that high school theater should be no cuts, because how do you know if you like something or are good at it if you never get a chance to like try it? I mean, look at you getting that opportunity to change your whole life. And
Mm-hmm.
and so I think one of the we're going to be talking about our ranking of the popular shows. For me, a big factor is it does have ensemble scenes. Does it? Can you just? I feel like you should always do a show that you can just throw another person in the back. You
Mm-hmm.
can, because they need that experience. And how do they even know if they like it if they never get a chance?
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. Our high school was no cuts. I mean, as I said, we were kind of picking people to be in it, but I think you're exactly right, Rachel. I think that's so important.
Yeah. My high school, Middletown High School in Maryland, was a really fun high school for drama, and I'm like the worst dancer, so I was always like ensemble in the back, hide me, don't show me something really bad, but I had a lot of fun doing it. And one of the downsides, I think, actually to Utah's theater scene is that it's so good that it's really hard to just like be a person in the back. Like even those people, it's pretty competitive. Like there are a few companies that are like truly amateur, uh that I really appreciate him for that, because I feel like even the ensemble roles are pretty competitive for most of the companies here. And but I was glad that my high school did have, basically anybody who wanted to participate, you could be another person in the back.
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah.
And so I did the Wiz, uh, which we talked about off air, but it's a little shady for a white high school to do, but it was really fun. We had a great time with it, and then we did Bye Bye Birdie, and we did more interesting plays. We did Up the Down Staircase, which I've never even heard of anybody else doing,
Yeah.
but it's actually a really fun play for a high, 'cause it's about a teacher in like a inner city school, Up the Down Staircase. So
Wow.
that one was fun and unique. But yeah, it's a special experience being a part of high school theater. What we're going to have today is we have the top 11 most produced high school musicals in the last year, 2024 to 2025. I think that if it wasn't just musicals, it would be the Cursed Child. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child would be on this list, because that was just like everywhere last year in high school theater. But this is just musicals. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this list, and we're going to share our rankings and why we think that it's a good or not as good choice for a high school to do. So be definitely curious for the listeners what you think of these shows, if you've been in any of these shows. And the only one of these that I haven't seen the junior version of is the Mean Girls. I'm not seeing Mean Girls Junior, but I'm actually going to see it soon. Draper Historic is doing it in a couple weeks, so I will see it soon.
Rachel, I don't know, but I'm music directing that show.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's cool. Oh, good. Well, I'm excited to see it, and but I've seen all of them, at least the adult version, and most of them I've seen the teen version. So anyway, well, let's dive in and let's talk about. So at number 11 is Shrek the Musical. Was number 11, because I said there's a tie here. And what do you think, Tanner, about Shrek the Musical as far as being a high school choice?
So this is my controversial opinion on Shrek the Musical, is I actually put Shrek as number 3 on my list. Shrek is a show that has grown on me over the years. When it first came out, I did not like it. And I just thought, this is not necessary. This is dumb. I don't like it. It's weird. I saw a production of it and I didn't like it. But since I became a voice teacher, I've started going over a lot of the music. The music is really well written. The characters are all really, really fun. The way that I segmented my my list is that I said, I made a list for 1 to 11 in content, 1 to 11 with characters, and 1 to 11 with music. And Shrek was toward the top on all three of those because the content's really silly, but it's fun and it knows that it's silly, and I think it works great for a high school setting because the jokes are dumb and funny. The characters actually in the musical have a decent amount of depth to them, and so it allows high school actors to explore a little bit more depth. And the music is really, really fun and more complex than I gave it credit for when I first started. When I saw it and when I first started researching it and learning it, and so I put that as number 3 on my list. I actually really like Shrek the Musical.
Me too. I actually have it at number 2, and I'll explain why. The only downside to me, I think, as a high school production is that it's mostly male leads,
That's true.
and so that's sometimes a bit of a challenge, but it has lots of ensembles and scenes. It has lots of ensemble scenes, it has lots of solo scenes, and it is fun. When I first saw Shrek the Musical, I was like very skeptical. I was like, this sounds terrible,
Mm-hmm.
not fun. I remember when I performed at the Tonys being like, what? I don't like that. And so then I went and saw it, and I thought it was so funny. I was laughing my head off. And so it was way better than I expected. So it might have helped from low expectations, but I really did enjoy it. And I think that it would be a good choice for high school because it does give so much opportunity for creativity as well.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity in the choreography, creativity in the costumes, creativity in the sets and other things. And this is like a nitpick, but I would way rather have in a high school production handmade sets than projections.
Agreed.
And I just think it's a good experience for the kids to be out there with that paintbrush, to be, trying and learning, and it's a bonding experience than the projections. I get it. Sometimes you need projections, but I think if the reason to do the projections is that it looks more perfect, no, we like embrace imperfection.
Mm-hmm.
We are all really aligned on this because I also was not excited about Shrek the Musical, and I have it as number 1. Um, I I
I thought
wasn't
you
even
didn't like the show. I'm surprised.
I don't. I don't. I don't at all. But what I will say, I don't even really like the movie. I'm not a huge Shrek fan,
Yeah.
but I saw it at a high school years ago, um, when I was babysitting a little boy who was in it. And, to your point, Rachel, they decorated the whole set. They actually worked on the costumes themselves. It
Yeah.
is a huge ensemble cast with lots of fun roles, though. Like, you can add as many people as you want, but also there are so many roles that are actually great supporting roles. I think also to your point, Rachel, yes, there are a lot of male roles, but I think very easily some of those could be girls. And I also think it's nice because it's really inclusive. It really doesn't matter the makeup of your school. You can do Shrek. And I think that what I have found from my experience with this show is that kids have a great time doing it. So even
Mm-hmm.
though it's not my favorite show, like I think some of the music is fun, but it's never one that I would go to for myself to see if I didn't know someone in it. I think it is a top-notch choice for high
Mm-hmm.
schools to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also not that big on the movie. I don't dislike the movie, but I don't love it. For me, I would probably, if I was ranking Shrek stuff, I would probably say Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, number 1. That movie's
Oh,
incredible.
Puss in Boots: Last Wish is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Right?
It's
Yes.
so
Oh,
good.
it's so good. Okay, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and then I would probably have Shrek the Musical, and then Shrek 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's the that's the ranking.
I actually fully agree with that. I would
Yeah.
completely
Yeah. Shrek the third, way down,
Way
way
down.
down. It's terrible. But anyway, yeah. So we all have Shrek the Musical pretty high, so that's great. Number 10 in the ranking is Chicago Teen Edition. I've actually seen this. My niece, she's living in Virginia. I happened to be in town when they were doing it. Her high school did this. So I've seen the Teen Edition. I've seen the regular on Broadway. Um, and I think that this one is okay. for high schools to do because it does have quite a few ensemble and it's so simple, like that I think it's very approachable as far as sets, costumes, all that stuff, very easy. It's also really ambitious, you know, but and they did an okay job teen-ifying this, making it like appropriate for kids that they could. It's still, I don't know if I would be like super excited if my daughter was in Chicago. This edition is a little mature, but I guess that's fine. But I have Chicago Teen Edition at 8 in my ranking. What about you, Jax? Where do you have it?
I have it at 7.
7, yeah.
I love Chicago. Love the musical. I think it's also, I think this would be a really great show. I've not seen the teen edition, but I'm kind of just using my
Mhm.
imagination of how they could do that.
Right.
I went to a school that was 7th grade through 12th grade. I think if this was a high school that was just a senior high or like a 9
Mm,
through 12 or a 10 through 12, I think Chicago Teen Edition would be amazing. And also if it was like if you had a lot of dancers, um, it's a big dance ensemble, really fun, very cool aesthetic. Um, but there are adult themes, which can be fine. Like a lot of these musicals have adult themes. So many iconic songs that are really fun for people to work on. But it's like when I picture like, a little 7th grader dressed as a munchkin, I'm not picturing them in Chicago,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. What do you think, Tanner?
I also put mine as number 8. I don't I, like say similarly. I don't have anything against Chicago. I like it. I think there's a reason it's been on the revival has been on Broadway for 30 years, and it's classic. There was nothing that I really favored about it. There was nothing that I had against it. It just kind of sat in the middle of my ranking the whole time.
Yeah.
Um, there is kind of the more traditionalist mindset that I have where I'm like, if I had a daughter and she was like, I'm going to go be in Chicago, I don't know as a dad how about that.
Yeah.
Especially if she was like 16 and like seeing my 16-year-old daughter doing the cell block tango, I just don't know how I'd feel about that. But if they like, I haven't seen the teen edition, so I don't know how they change, how they make it a little bit more family friendly. But that was just my opinion about it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So next is Into the Woods is next, which we did a whole episode. Tony Butler actually came on, your director for Big Fish, came on for that episode because when I saw Into the Woods at Kensington, she wore an Into the Woods dress. And so I was like, she has to be. And she was amazing and phenomenal. But I am a Into the Woods detractor. I don't love it. I'm not, I don't love the subversion. It's just not my favorite. But I do think it's very ambitious for any high school to put on because it is so challenging. I understand why someone would want to do it, but I have it at 11, not just because I don't really like it, but also I think it's a terrible choice for a high school to do. There's literally no ensemble numbers in the whole show. And so it's really bad for people being able to participate. You just by necessity you have a pretty small cast in it, and so I don't think it's a good choice for high school to do. But I'm trying to. I mean, unless you're including West Side Story, I don't think any of Sondheim's I don't think any of Sondheim's shows are particularly good for high school.
No, I would agree with that. I would agree. Sondheim is not. He doesn't write shows for big ensembles. He
No,
writes
he doesn't.
he writes very richly character driven shows. But because of that, the characters need to have all of the focus. You can't have the big ensemble scene.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So Jax, where do you have Into the Woods?
So Rachel and I are very different views on Into the Woods. I love it. However, I have it as 11 as well. Um, to do a show like this at a high school that doesn't really have an ensemble and it's difficult to add an ensemble, like there are little ways to do it. Like there can be. I've seen schools do it. I also have a big bone to pick with this show right now with high schools because Winter Donnelly, who's one of my students that I coach, who was um, on stage blog podcast with Rachel and I maybe like a couple of months ago.
Yeah, we were talking about Matilda versus
Matilda.
Annie. Yeah.
Matilda versus Annie. She goes to LaGuardia. She's been on Broadway and Frozen, and she wasn't cast in the show and ended up having to go to a school nearby to do a show that year and then last year, and then was nominated for Roger Rees, was in the finals. And I was so proud of her, but I'm like, this is like, they can't even cast people that should be able to do their school musicals. So I just feel
Hmm.
like Into the Woods, well, in my opinion, an incredible show. I don't think it lends itself very well to being done in high school.
Now, what do you think, Tanner?
I would agree with both of you. I wasn't really, full disclosure, I wasn't really thinking about the ensemble aspect of everything when I was ranking things. I put Into the Woods number 7.
Uh-huh.
I do like Into the Woods. I think some of the content is a little bit darker, which is not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It's just a little bit darker. The characters are pretty rich in Into the Woods. The reason I put it higher is because the music is just complex enough to really challenge a group of younger actors, but it's not some of Sondheim's more really difficult music. So it's kind of an introductory, like for me, it was my introduction into Stephen Sondheim. I didn't know who he was, and I learned, and I saw Into the Woods in high school, and it helped, and it made me learn who he was, and I got more interested. And so that's why I put it a little bit higher, because the music is just complex enough. I think it's the easiest Stephen Sondheim show, but it's still more complex than most musical theater high schoolers would be exposed to in doing theater in high school. So I put it a little bit higher, but I still think it wouldn't be my favorite. It wouldn't be even in my top 5 choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next is The Wizard of Oz. And I feel like we should just say The Wizard of Oz, aka we can't do Wicked, so we're going to do The Wizard of Oz this year. It's the only reason this is on this list, I guarantee you. And this is like a fairly mediocre adaptation of the movie. It's fine. They do have this. They have the Jitterbug song, which was originally in the movie. It was even shot. You can watch it if you want. So they have that in the musical, which is kind of fun. But as far as an adaptation, it's fairly mediocre because there's tons of ensemble thing. I mean, there's tons. You can just add another flying monkey, add another munchkin to the thing. Like, to me, it has lots of solos because you've got all the 4 main that have solos. You've got your Wicked Witch, you've got your Good Witch. I mean, there's just a lot of leads in it. So I have it at 9. I have it 9 in my ranking just because I just think it's kind of mediocre, but it would be a decent one as far as participation. But Jax, where do you have it?
I actually have it pretty high. I have it
Yeah.
at 4. When I was in 7th grade in my high school, we did it. There were like 30 7th grade girls that were munchkins. It was a blast. I actually like the music. The thing that, to your point, Rachel, I recently auditioned for this show and was like, oh, the book is really bad.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue was so bad. I had a blast auditioning for it because it was for like the Wicked Witch and I got to do crazy stuff, but it was so bad that I hadn't remembered how bad it was. So I think the thing is, I remember having so much fun. I think the music's really fun. Like you said, it's a big ensemble with these iconic moments, and there's lots of flexibility in casting. So that's why I have it so high because I think it would be really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Tanner?
I ranked this one last actually because
Yeah.
I have seen a number. So I've seen one professional production of Wizard of Oz, and I did like the professional production. I've seen, I think, 4 youth productions of Wizard of Oz. Uh, 3 times they did the full version. One time I just recently saw it at when Hale Theater did it. They did the youth edition, and I had 5 or 6 students in that, and that one was more fun. But watching, just I feel bad saying this, but watching a bunch of watching high schoolers do the full 2 hours of Wizard of Oz, it just is really long sometimes and really hard to see.
Yeah.
Um, but the characters are a little bit more fun in Wizard of Oz. I do like a lot of the characters, but I just don't love. I'm with you on the adaptation. I just don't love the adaptation, and the music's kind of fun, but for me, it doesn't save the show overall. And I love the original movie. And for me, I'm just like, that's just kind of immortal to me. And I just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
an opinion I have on it.
Yeah. Well, number 7 is Disney's Frozen Junior. And this is a rare instance where I actually think I prefer the junior version over the regular version because I enjoy Frozen. I think it's a decent adaptation from Disney. Some of theirs are really bad, and this one is decent. But I just find it is a little boring. It's a little long. So like the Frozen Junior, we're cutting it down a little bit, and I think that's to its benefit. But it's fun. It's easy to involve an ensemble. It's easy to it has a lot of female roles, which is nice for high school. It's got some fun dramatic scenes that you can really enjoy, and you can do some creative things with it. So for high school, I have it at 5 in my ranking for Frozen. What about you, Jax?
I have Frozen Junior at 9 because I think that for a middle school or like a younger high school, like if we're talking a junior high, I like it. I feel like for high school, it feels like it skews a little young. When I've seen Frozen Junior,
Mm,
um, it was at a middle school and it was perfect, like pitch perfect for a middle school. But I feel as though doing Frozen Junior at a high school level, like yes, it'll be awesome for the two seniors or whatever doing Elsa and Anna to like belt the crap out of it. But I just feel like the show itself feels a little young for
that's
high
true.
schoolers.
Mostly ensemble scenes are the terrible songs.
Yeah.
Fixer Upper and
Yeah.
Aggie, and yeah,
Exactly,
that's a
exactly.
fair point.
Yeah.
Where do you have it, Tanner?
I'm with Jax on this one. So full disclosure about this one and another show that's coming up a little bit later is that I actually just kind of recently have a bone to pick with Disney in general.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
I have a bias against them. I put Frozen at 10. Um, I don't mind the movie. I have three little sisters, and so I've probably heard it 1,000 times growing up. And so I don't hate it. I don't love it. My problem is that the content of the show is not very. There's not a lot of depth to it. The characters don't have a lot of depth to them. Um, and I do like the music in the show. I think the music is fun, and so that took it a little bit higher. But I've seen the junior version, and I just wasn't super impressed.
Yeah. Well, number 6 is Disney's The Little Mermaid. And I love and adore the animated film. It was the first movie I ever really loved. So I have a special place in my heart for it. I think this adaptation is really mediocre. It is not good. But it does give a lot of parts to girls. There are a lot of, because all the sisters, and I mean, there's just a lot. And it does have a lot of ensemble scenes and a lot of solo scenes. But I think they just made some very bizarre choices. Like, why do they have Flounder in love with Ariel? That makes no sense. And all of the new songs are terrible and are mediocre at best. But I'll never forget, Bluffdale Arts, they have a no cut rule, and they're like very hardcore about it. And
Mm-hmm.
they did a production, well, I think it was last year or 2023, I can't remember.
I think
But
it was
they
that three. I think I know what a
yeah,
production.
they did a production. They had over 200 people in the cast, and most of it was probably like 80% little kids. And so they just
Oh,
like kept coming. It was adorable. Like
so
positivity.
cute.
I swear there were 25 little kids, like seagulls, and so
That's so
it
cute.
is a show that you can do a lot of ensemble work. But I have it at 7 in my ranking for Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I have this one a pretty high in terms of I have it at 5. Now, I do think this also, much like Frozen Junior, does skew a little bit younger. But for
Yeah,
some
it
reason, I
does.
feel it's yeah. But for some reason, I feel like there's a little bit more. Maybe just because like I grew up with Little Mermaid, and it feels a little bit more um, like there's stuff that they could sink their teeth into. Um, yeah, I think it's fun. All the sea creatures, like tons of fun, big ensemble. I feel like the tech and the costuming could be demanding, but also I think that it'd be fun for them to get to make their own costumes and
Creativity.
also, yeah, the creativity
Yeah.
for that. So I have it at 5.
Mhm. I have mine. Again, I have a bone to pick with Disney. I put this one at number 9. The
Mhm.
thing is that so in my content section, it's actually pretty high because there's the big ensemble, there's the fun costumes. You could do a lot with the staging and things like that. Really, my problem with this show is that it's at the bottom of my list for characters because not necessarily because I don't like any of the characters, but because to me, I feel like none of the characters go on a really big, emotional, difficult, complex journey. I feel like the character arcs are cliche, or I mean, King Triton is like, I don't want my 16-year-old daughter to marry this prince. And at the end of the show, he's like, actually, it's fine. And the funny thing, I saw a meme one time that was you become an adult when you start agreeing with like the parents in the Disney movies that you were so mad at as a kid. And
Yeah.
so I mean, Ursula, the Wicked Queen, gets defeated, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's just I just am not
Yeah.
super interested in any of the characters in this show. But that said, there is the possibility for the huge ensemble and lots of fun costumes and lots of fun lighting and staging. I know when Hale Theater did this a couple of years ago, I heard it was just a blast.
Mhm.
So yeah, for me, it's just I feel like there are other shows that could be more fun at a high school, but that doesn't mean I hate Little Mermaid.
Mhm. Yeah, other Disney shows that could be more fun. I mean, I think Beauty and the Beast is a million times better.
Beauty and the Beast is the one show that I can't find anything wrong with. Like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
high school setting, I think it's so much fun, and I think it's a much better choice than Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
completely agree. I
Yeah.
think some of these, honestly, this list for me has a lot of head scratchers that I feel like we could just do better in
Well,
general.
I'm surprised that Newsies isn't on this list.
Mm.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 12, but I do think that's a better show. I mean, it's hard because it is also very male focused, your leads. And so it makes it a little harder, but I still think it's a better show than Little Mermaid
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
high school to do. But number 5 is actually 4 and 5 are tie. So this is actually 4 part B. Is Mean Girls, the high school version. So I haven't seen the high school version, but the regular version I've seen, and I thought it was pretty fun, pretty funny. The songs are pretty catchy. It's always nice when high schoolers get to play high schoolers. That's always
Yeah.
good. I'm surprised something like the prom isn't on this list. I would think that that would be very appealing. Maybe it's a little too controversial to be that much performed, but um, I think it's nice when like I saw this year, I saw a really great high school version of Grease Junior, and it was fun. I just think it's fun when high schoolers get to play high schoolers in a
Yeah.
high school.
I think it's interesting about the prom too, because I understand to the point of the being controversial, but like especially in New York, I'm surprised that none of the schools do it because I feel like it wouldn't be controversial here, and I haven't heard of any schools doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's surprising. Also a little surprised, maybe it leans just slightly younger. I'm surprised that SpongeBob isn't on this list.
Hmm.
I,
That
I
is,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of it,
Same.
but nevertheless, I would think that would be pretty popular for high school.
Yeah.
Would be that.
Yeah.
But what do you think about Mean Girls, Jax?
I have Mean Girls as 3. I think it's so much fun for teens. Like I know the teen girls that I coach love Mean Girls. There's fun ensemble moments like in the cafeteria, the classroom, the talent show. It's relevant, it's funny, and yeah, Rachel, I think that teens really love getting to play teens, and I think that this is a show that at least among the girls I coach feels very hot right now. This and Legally Blonde. It's like what they
Mm-hmm.
all want to do. Um, and also I think there's it's very open casting as far as race wise for Mean Girls. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a lot of fun to be had in this one.
Yeah. I have it at 6, by the way. I forgot to say I have it 6.
Oh, so
What?
yeah, mine's, did I say 3? I meant 3. It's a 3.
Oh, 3. Yeah. What do you think, Tanner, about this?
I'm
Oh,
biased
yeah, you're
towards
doing it. Yeah.
one because I'm doing it right now, and so I put this at number 2 for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a huge female led cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's
True.
all like almost exclusively girls who are the leads in this show, which is awesome because I mean, being a guy in musical theater, I am always outnumbered by girls who are auditioning, always. And women are always upset with me because I get called in to do roles because they don't have enough guys. And so it's great to have a show that has so many female roles. Also, just the content of the show is it's something that teenagers can relate to pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that about the show, that it the high school. So there's 3 versions of Mean Girls. There's the full version, there's the high school version, and there's the junior version.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Neither did I.
I didn't realize there were.
Is that the high school version is pretty good. They cut out some of the biggest innuendos, some of the worst profanity. The junior version, full disclosure, it's a junior version. They cut out a lot of the show. They sanitized it so that a middle school could do it. And some of the messages are changed, and I don't love the way that they revamped it a little bit, but most of the music is still there. My main thing about this show is that it really it dives into some of the more complex things about growing up. And the song I'd Rather Be Me is about, like, why are we supposed to be just like nice and not fight? Why don't we just fight and then make up? Like, why can't we just do that? And so I like a lot of things about that. And I actually have Mean Girls as number 1 on my music because the music is it's very fun. It's very upbeat. There's some dramatic songs. There's some slower songs. There's some faster songs. And like Jack said, my teen girls that I teach love this show. They adore it. And so when high schools do this show, it always gets huge casts because so many kids want to be part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, next, number 4. This was a tie with Mean Girls. Is Little Shop of Horrors, which I'm surprised that this was this high. That many high schools are doing it. I was kind of surprised. But it's a great show. I love the show, but I have it at 10 just because there are no ensembles. There's the Greek chorus, but that's it. There's not a single scene in the whole show that's an ensemble. And it's also very male focused. All the leads except Audrey are all male. So I have it at 10, but I do really enjoy the show, and that off-Broadway production that's been running for so long is so good.
Oh my gosh, I just saw it earlier this year. It's so fun.
So good.
So great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. What about you, Jax? Where do you have it?
I have it as 8. I love the show, but everything you said, Rachel, like, makes complete sense. Hopefully at a high school they can expand the trio chorus and expand it out a little bit. Great show for an all boys high school where they can just bring in the Audrey.
Yeah, right.
Like, let's do that.
That would be good. Yeah, that's right. What do you think, Tanner?
Okay, I'm actually nervous to share my opinion on this one, to be honest.
Oh, let's hear it.
And let me justify it. So Little Shop was actually my number 1. Because for a couple of reasons. First of all, the show is so funny. It's so much fun. It's a blast. The characters are all super quirky and silly and fun. So I'm music directing at a high school. I'm music directing Once Upon a Mattress later this year, and they do 2 musicals a year where they do one musical. They do one big musical for the whole school, and then they do another smaller musical where they do it just a specific part of the theater department, and they always double cast that show. And they're doing Little Shop of Horrors for their small cast, and for whatever reason this year they just have a ton of guys. They don't have a lot of girls in the class, and they have a ton of guys in the class. And so I feel like the music is fairly complicated and difficult. The characters are fun, and the show is really fun. And so it will give them an opportunity to do a really, really fun show like that, because that's where their specific population is. I agree with Jackson.
That makes sense.
Great for an all-boy high school. Like, it'd be a terrific show for an all-boy high school.
Yeah, they could do like
such a Seymour.
They could do like Newsies in the fall, and then do Little Shop. It'd be set. You'd be like an Alan Menken love fest. Yeah, that'd be great.
Actually, that would be amazing. Let's
Yeah.
tell these all boy high schools that this is what they need to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it fell really high on the list for me. I just really love the show, and I
Yeah.
thought it was fun.
Nothing wrong with that. All right. So number three is Mamma Mia. And this it makes a lot of sense. The lead character is, or one of the lead characters is a teenager. It's got lots of women roles. It's got lots of ensemble scenes. It's got lots of opportunity for choreography, and it's fun and bubbly. I can understand why it's popular for high schoolers to do. I actually have it at three. I enjoy Mamma Mia. I think it's a very silly show, but sometimes I like silly shows. So at three. Um, but Jax, what do you think?
Yeah, Mamma Mia is so fun. I have it as at six. It's high energy. Um, like a lot of the ensemble roles are backup singers and dancers, but that's still really fun.
Yeah.
There, there's somewhat, of course, of the adult themes, but I don't think it's being hit on in a way that is inappropriate for high school. Like I really think that that's
Yeah.
fine. And yeah, it's just a blast. Like ABBA, come on, you cannot go wrong. And then the parents are going to enjoy watching it too.
Yeah. How do you think this new revival is going to do? Do you think it's
I
going to
don't
be interesting
know.
to
I think it's going to
see?
be interesting. What do you
Yeah.
think, Tanner? I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it shakes out.
I'm also really interested in the revival. I think I might go see it. I'm planning another New York trip because like chess is open
Oh,
again, and I really
yes.
that. There's a couple shows that are like and Beetlejuice is opening on Broadway again, so I'm planning another New York trip
Oh,
to see it and see a bunch of those shows. For Mamma Mia, I put number six also. Um, Again, there was just, I mean, I love watching Mamma Mia. It's so fun. It's so silly. I saw a high school production of this, and I was hesitant about it because I'd never seen a high school production of it. But I mean, the kids really got into it. They loved it, and it was really silly. Everyone's singing along at the end. Parents love to watch it. And again, there's those adult themes where it's like, yeah, it's like a woman. She doesn't know who the father of her child is, and it's one of three guys, and it's a little iffy, but also like Les Mis has prostitution in it, and
yeah.
so some of these shows there's just adult themes, and I don't think it's a problem to have kids, especially kids who are 16, 17, 18, exploring adult themes like that in a way that is comfortable, in a way that is fun and safe, and so I
Yeah.
number six. It's really really fun. Huge ensemble possibilities in this show, and I can't imagine any kid would not have a good time being in it.
Mhm. You do have to find four quality male leads, which could be a challenge
Mm-hmm.
for some high schools.
Yeah.
But I guess if the movie can have Pierce Brosnan, then high school's fine.
It's the joke I make time where I say, "Oh, I went and saw the show, and like all of the girls were amazing, and the guys were fine."
Yeah, yeah. Well, number two is Hadestown Teen Edition, and that's definitely number one in Utah.
Oh my God, yeah.
It is insane here. I've seen it four times since in the last like 8 months. I've seen it four times. but
I
but
love
I
that.
I actually have it at in first place. But the reason why is because when I first saw Hadestown on Broadway, I've only seen it once on Broadway. When I saw it on Broadway, like my expectations were way high, and I went and saw it, and I was like, oh, that was pretty good. I liked it, but because I had such crazy high expectations, it felt like a little bit of a letdown. Um, and then I've seen it all these times. The high school is doing, and I think I actually like it more than I think I've finally gotten the like brilliance of it. Like I always thought, oh, that was solid, but not like one of my all-time faves. But like, so I got to give the high schoolers a lot of credit for like really winning me over to this show. But I think it's a great choice for high school to do. It has lots of solos. It has lots of ensemble scenes. It's really challenging. It gives tons of opportunity for creativity and inventiveness in the way they use the music, the choreography, the way they do just build these worlds. Like one of the local versions I saw, they built this incredible subway set that for the way down, and that looked like it looked like a subway. Like it was so good. And in the Riverton High School, their version was so incredible, like so immersive, and they were coming out into the aisles and surrounding you, and it was unbelievable, really. They had hired professional musicians to accompany on stage. Like they really thought of everything. It was amazing. But yeah, it's I just think a great show. It's got lots of great songs for girls and for boys. It's uh I don't know, so I do have it at number one. I get it why everyone's doing it, and because I think it's a really ambitious, fun, challenging, exciting show for kids to do. What do you think, Jax?
I mean, you completely changed my mind. I love Hadestown, but I think for me, even though now I coach kids who they live in New York City, a lot of them have been on Broadway, they're very talented. I still think about my own high school and I'm like, wow, we would make a mess of
Yeah,
Hadestown Teen Edition. We would make a
I
mess out
forget
of
because
it.
Utah is so like abnormally amazing. Like what one of those things, they had like multiple kids that were in the Jimmy Awards. Like
Yes.
it's
That's
unbelievable.
that's what and like Tanner's like, oh, I put it high on my list if it's musically complex, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like,
It's true.
okay, like so you guys are in a very different position than I am, how I grew up. So for me, I had it as 10. It's gorgeous music, it's really poetic, but it's so to me it feels very musically and emotionally complex. So a little bit more for an
Mm.
advanced school, but I mean, I think if you're doing it in a place like Utah, where it's an embarrassment of riches for theater programs, or even like in New York, where the kids are very accustomed to doing things like this, I think it'll go over much better than it would in Colt
Mhm.
Region, Pennsylvania, where we could barely handle guys and dolls.
Yeah.
Well, I actually I second what Jack says. You kind of won me over with this one by the way that you just talked about it. It might, and so I have not seen a teen version of this show. I saw this on Broadway, and I had the exact same experience where my expectations were very high, and I walked out, and I just thought that was good. I liked it. I didn't dislike it. Um,
Yeah.
and I was so hesitant when suddenly, 12 of my students are talking about how they're doing it this year. And I think maybe I was a little bit bothered that every single high school in the valley basically was putting this on. But I put it at number 5 because uh, I mean the content, like I like the content of the show. I also felt like I didn't know if high schoolers could grasp the complexities of the show, but the way that you're talking about it, I think I might not be giving them enough credit. Same with the characters. All of the characters in Hadestown are incredibly complex, and
Yeah.
uh, and so I put it higher on the list because the characters are more complex, and the music I put as number 2 because the music of Hadestown is so interesting and it's so unique and it's difficult. And for an ensemble, I can imagine some of those. I mean, some of the chants. I can imagine
Mhm.
ensemble of 100 kids in the aisleways doing those chants would be such an incredible experience as an audience member. So I think you might have won me over to this one. I put it at 5.
Yeah, yeah. And I should say the one with the subway was Leahona
Oh
Preparatory
yeah.
Academy. Oh, so good.
Well, actually, one of my good friends is a high school teacher up in Salt Lake proper, and she got director of the year for directing this show last year.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Well, number one, and this surprised me a little bit that it was this high. Number one is The Addams Family. That's the most produced high school production, 2024 to 2025. And I have The Addams Family at 4. I think that it doesn't necessarily, it has some ensemble scenes because you got the ancestors, and that's really fun. It does have a lot of solos though, a lot of leads. Everybody knows that especially that full disclosure number, it makes me want to die. Like I hate it so much. That song is so long. It's such a I I think that this show would be so much better if you got rid of the boyfriend's parents. Both of them. Get them rid of them. They're terrible.
The
But
binding.
yes, I don't like those characters at all, and I hate that full disclosure song.
I
But
loved getting to sit next to you for full disclosure now. Like that was to me incredible because I know how much we hate it. And it goes
it's
on and
so
on and
long.
on and on.
It really but I can't deny that it does have quite a few fun bops, and it would be fun to kind of get into character. I have seen this out of high school. They did it here at Corner Canyon high school a couple of years ago, and they were great, and it was really fun, and so it gives a lot of room for creativity, and it has a lot of solos and a lot of, so I get it. I am surprised it's number one though. I like I said, I have it at 4, but I wish they did a teen edition just to get rid of that horrible song. Jax, what do you think?
I actually have it as 2.
Uh-huh.
I had seen it on Broadway years ago and thought it was okay. When I got to see it at Hale, I thought it was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it was
I
so
was
good.
like, this is so good. And it felt like a pretty large ensemble at Hale, but I think the ancestors are really fun. You can add a lot of kids for that. Um, it's spooky, like you're having a good time with it. I really
Yeah.
like the music. I like that there are kid roles and adult roles in it. Then I think that's fun for high
Mm,
school kids to play. It's fun for high school kids to get to play high school, but it's also fun for them to get to um, flex their acting abilities and get to play adults. Like I think that can be really fun too. So yeah, I have this at number 2. I think it's really really fun for high schools to do.
yeah. What do you think, Tanner?
I put this as number 4 also. I concur with everything that both of you said. I do not like full disclosure. It's a really long, arduous, just slog of a song. But I mean, the show is really fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's Andrew,
Yes.
and I love Andrew Lippa's music. It has, I mean, it has the classic Addams Family song, and everybody loves that. The characters are fun and silly. The ancestors are all fun and silly. I worked on this show. Alta High School put this on a few years ago. It was when I was just starting teaching voice, and so I was going around to high schools and volunteering to help with their musicals, and I worked on this show with them.
Smart.
Seeing how into it a lot of the kids got, just all the kids playing the ancestors, they all had these very specific costumes from all these different time periods, and they were acting from the time period that their costume was from, and really getting into it, and seeing them so devoted to those roles, even though they were quote unquote just an ancestor, they had so much fun doing it. And the music is fun. There's some of those big like classics like Pulled. Pulled is really really famous. Crazier Than You is really famous, and those are fun. Um, I do like this show, and I think it's a great choice for a high school.
Yeah, and it's a show that they're constantly retooling. They've been constantly so if you're listening, Adam's Family people, cut that song. Your show would be so much better. You don't need it for the story. You
You
really
don't need
don't.
that 8-minute song right before intermission.
Please. Well, very good. So let's go over our rankings. So I have Hadestown at number 1. I have Shrek at 2, Mamma Mia at 3, Adam's Family at 4, Disney's Frozen at 5, Mean Girls at 6, Little Mermaid at 7, Chicago at 8, Wizard of Oz at 9, Little Shop of Horrors at 10, and In the Woods at 11.
I've got 1 Shrek, 2 The Addams Family, 3 Mean Girls, 4 The Wizard of Oz, 5 The Little Mermaid, 6 Mamma Mia, 7 Chicago, 8 Little Shop, 9 Frozen, 10 Hades Town, and 11 Into the Woods.
I have 1 Little Shop of Horrors, 2 Mean Girls, 3 Shrek, 4 Addams Family, 5 Hadestown, 6 Mamma Mia, 7 Into the Woods, 8 Chicago, 9 Little Mermaid, 10 Frozen, and 11 Wizard of Oz.
Very good. Well, let us know if you're listening what you think of these musicals, these junior versions, high school. What do you think makes for a great high school production? What have you been in or had your kids be in? We'd love to hear all of that in the comments. And are any of these surprising to you? All of that we would love to have in the comments section. And make sure you check out our playlist with all of our episodes of the OnStage Black Theater podcast. And Jax, how can people find you?
Jacqueline Collier on Instagram.
Great. And Tanner, do you have any social media or anything you want to share?
Yeah, sure. I am at Tan the Man Tate at Instagram.
Great.
My
Yeah.
some reason.
You're like
And you
gonna give
can
away your email address. You're like, yeah, email me if you want.
Yeah. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes, and also at rachelsreviewstheater.com. You can check out all my many reviews for Hadestown High School Edition in there. So definitely check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.